Today, the 8th of January, is no ordinary day. But how many of us can remember why it is a special day? It is a day on which in 2015, all opposition political parties succeeded in their united effort to unseat the autocratic government that had tightened its grip around our people for 9 long years. But there is another reason to remember the 8th of January. It is the most important reason, especially for journalists and other media personnel. It was 13 years ago, on the 8th of January 2009, that Lasantha Wickrematunge, the most fearless newspaper editor our country has ever produced, was killed in broad daylight in the middle of a high security zone. But then, just as now, we had a government that boasted about having the best defense and intelligence credentials. They found Prabhakaran, they brought down KP, and yet they expect us to believe that they are somehow unable to find out who killed Lasantha within walking distance of the Ratmalana Air Force Base at the height of the war. Whatever they say, at the end of the day, all of us, all rational, level-headed people, have a fairly good idea of why Lasantha was killed and why his murder was covered up. The only people who are still in the dark are those who still refuse to open their eyes and believe the truth staring them in the face. It is ironic that despite electing a government on promises like one country, one law and national security first, somehow every single police officer, prosecutor or witness who tried to help solve Lasantha's murder has been punished. Some have had to flee the country or been arrested on fabricated charges. Others have been threatened, and many more have been ceaselessly harassed by the state, including by commissions whose purpose appears to be protecting the killers and punishing those who tried to bring them to justice. But how has this been allowed to happen? After all, in a democracy, not everything is up to the government. The disgusting truth is that the media, apart from Sirasa, have failed to consistently fight for Lasantha and demand that his killers be brought to justice. It is very surprising to me that the majority of members of a profession could be silent when one of their fellow professionals was punished for plying their trade. Whether you agreed with him and his writings or you thought it was rubbish that never deserved to be printed, you must agree that you cannot kill someone because you disagree with that person. I myself had differences with Lasantha. Our newspapers were in competition. But when he was killed, it was not an attack on him or the Sunday Leader, but an attack on the right of the Sri Lankan media to shine a light on things that powerful people would rather keep hidden in the dark. He was the most fearless journalist in living memory. In death, he will forever embody and bring life to his newspaper's founding motto, unbowed and unafraid. What set Lasantha apart is that he always stood up for media freedom and the rights of other journalists, even those he disagreed with or competed with. He held dear the principle of defending professionals and standing by them when the state turned against them. Whenever a government resorted to abuse or excess, Lasantha was there, fighting as a one-man opposition, no matter the risk to himself. Just imagine, if there was a Lasantha Wickrematunge today, what would our newspapers look like? What an irritant he would have been to the powers that be. Perhaps that is the very reason that certain people ensured that he was taken away from us. He would never compromise and could not be bent. To him, the readers and their right to know came first. Lasantha was Sri Lanka's symbol of media freedom and professional independence. Just look at what became commonplace after Lasantha was killed with impunity. Sarath Fonseca, the real hero who destroyed the LTT and ended the civil war, was arrested, assaulted, and thrown in jail. But barely any military officer spoke out on his behalf. Most turned a blind eye. A Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Shirani Bandaranaike, was forced out of office, and only a handful of lawyers and judges stood up for her, as the majority remained silent. A doctor, Shafi Shahabdeen, was persecuted and jailed on patently fabricated charges. Any medical student could tell that the charges against him were absolute fiction. But how many of his fellow doctors came out and said so in public? The overwhelming majority stayed silent as Dr. Shafi's name was dragged through the mud only for political gain. A lawyer, Hejaz Hisbullah, was arrested on so-called terrorism charges. But even after the vast majority of the witnesses against him came forward and gave evidence to the courts that the police forced them to falsely incriminate him, how many lawyers have come forward to defend Hejaz and explain publicly what it means to a case when most of the witnesses say the police forced them to make a false statement? Almost none. Then there is Shani Abeysekara, Sri Lanka's Sherlock Holmes, a man who has solved over 40 murders, including cases of terrorism, assassination, and underworld crime. A man who could not be corrupted and who led police investigations into some of the most horrific crimes. When Shani was arrested on charges that the Court of Appeal said were obviously fabricated, most police officers, despite knowing who he was, chose to keep quiet and did not have the courage to defend him. It is easy to try and look at this problem through a political lens, to say this person failed or that government failed. But this is not a port to a problem. It is not a Yahapalne problem. This is a professional problem. Any government will try to get away with whatever we let them get away with. It is up to the professionals to start standing up for their colleagues. Until they do, we will remain in the mercy of politicians. Alas, it is too late for Lasantha. But it is not too late for the rest of us. It is not too late for us to decide, as a nation, to defend the rights of all professionals, to ply their trade, to defend their right to speak their mind, and to say that never again in Sri Lanka we will allow a government to silently sack, lock up, torture, or murder professionals whenever they feel like it. For Sri Lanka to thrive, our professionals must see themselves as a fraternity and stand up for each other. For the judiciary to be independent, judges must stand up against attacks on judges. If you are to trust the police to be independent, police officers must protect their brothers and sisters who politicians try to punish for doing their duty. The military must know that their allegiance is to the Constitution and not to individuals. Doctors must stand up for doctors. Journalists must stand up for journalists. Lawyers for lawyers. One way or another, Lasantha will get justice. Those who build their success on his grave are running against the clock. At the end of the day, they will fail. They will fail in life. They will fail in spirit. They will fail forever.